Hey everyone, Jeff Sard from the Practical Drummer here. In the last video I showed you the 3/4 polyrhythm using paradiddles. So essentially 4-note groupings, which are usually phrases 16th notes, I broke down and used them as triplets. So it accented the 3/4 or the half-note triplet. And we also saw that we could take that tempo, that now slower feel, and make that the new tempo, which we did. This time I want to play on the hi-hat, so I kind of pan down a little bit. But if I'm going to play a half-time 16th note feel, okay? In the last video I did a half-time shuffle. So it was based on triplets. But I want to play a groove that not a lot of people play, and you know, this is actually pretty fun to get creative with in itself. And so I came up with this groove. I'll play it and then I'll break it down, and then I'll show you this polyrhythm, how to go in and out of a slower tempo and get back to the original using the 3/4. Okay? So the groove I came up with was this. Okay, so that's the groove, and essentially what I'm doing is I'm playing 16th notes on the hi-hat in 4/4, 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a, okay? The snare drum is on 3, so that's the only snare drum in the measure. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a, okay? The bass drum I'm playing on the 1, the duh of 1, and the and of 2. But I'm not accenting. Usually we accent with the bass drum. Usually we go, okay? I'm not doing that, but it is 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. So again, the left hand hits the bass drum on the duh of 1, right? 1 E and duh, 1 E and duh, 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a, okay? But what I'm doing is instead of accenting on the 1, I'm actually displacing it a little bit by 1/16th note, and I'm accenting the E, so it'll be 1, tip, 1 E, 1 E and 1 E and 2 E and see that? Doing it slow is tough. So instead of 1 E and 2 E and, it's 1 E and 2 E and 1 E and 2 E and okay? So it follows the bass drum by 1/16th note. So it really just kind of fills it in, makes it a little bit fatter feel. But I'm also adding in the accent, open hi-hat. I open on the duh of 2 and close on the 3 with the snare drum to get that little psst sound. Okay? And then I accent the E and the and of 4. So it'll be 3 E and 4 E and 4 E and so tip on 4, shank, shank, tip. That's how that goes, okay? So it's, okay. Okay, so here it is together. Okay, so try to play that very slow and clean. You can see on the last duh there, I hit a shank, okay? Which would be kind of cool, but that's not what I was planning to do. So I noticed that I didn't hit the tip on the duh of 4. Again, small potatoes, but when you're trying to get precise in drumming, you want to make sure that all the notes line up exactly how you want them played. So that's the groove. I'll play it one more time, up to speed. 1, As you can see, I missed the second measure. I missed the opening on the dove too. Okay, so again, I know. It's not a big deal, but it happens, right? So just that you know, again, it's self-awareness of your drumming. So here's the thing though, is we want to now modulate the time using triplets. If I was going to go hand-to-hand 16th notes into just hand-to-hand triplets, still keeping on 2 and 4, that would sound like this. So let's just pretend I'm going to play a regular 4/4 groove. 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2, 4 and a 1, okay? If I go to triplets now, the left hand is going to now come down on the snare instead of the right hand because it's odd. Now I have an odd number, right? Whereas 16th notes are the right hand. Triplets are 1 ta ta 2 ta ta 3 ta ta 4 ta ta 1 ta ta 2. So if I alternate a measure of each, you'll see 1, 2, 3. Okay, so I'm counting 1 E into 2 E into 3 E into 4 E into 1 ta ta 2 ta ta 3 ta ta 4 ta ta 1 and so forth, right? So you get that. And a little bit up the speed. Okay. So, but the polyrhythm is not on the beat, right? It's accenting, as we remember in the last video, instead of on the quarter notes, which that was 1 ta ta 2 ta ta 3 ta ta 4 ta ta 1. We're going to accent now, which is accenting every third note. We're going to accent every fourth note. That's how we get the 3/4. So we accent every fourth triplet. Essentially, it's going to sound. And I'm going to bring the I'm going to put the bass drum. I'm just going to alternate the accents. Okay. So remember, it's 1 ta ta 2 ta ta 3 ta ta 4 ta ta 1 ta ta 2 ta ta 3 ta ta 4 ta ta, right? So the 1, the first triplet of 2, the second triplet or the last triplet of 3, nothing on 4. That's how you get the 3/4 polyrhythm. So if I go 1 ta ta 2 ta ta 3 ta ta 4 ta ta 1 ta ta 2 ta ta 3 ta ta 4 ta ta 1, that was 2 measures of 4/4 triplets, but I'm accenting every fourth one, so it gives us this polyrhythmic feeling. And in fact, it's actually a feeling of a slow 6/4 16th groove, right? Because instead of, here we go. See that? Because instead of coming down on the 2 and the 4, I'm now just bringing it on 1 ta ta 2 ta, ta 3 ta ta 4 ta ta 1 ta ta 2 ta 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 4 ta ta 1. Okay? So we know how to shift from 16th notes to triplets. Okay? I just showed you. And 16th notes now to the polyrhythm. I'll just play the basic 2 and 4 and then show you, because then I'm going to show you the halftime feel. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you can see it is slower. That polyrhythmic sticking and using triplets, but the 3/4 accenting every fourth one creates a slower 16th note groove, which is fascinating because we're playing a faster 16th note groove in the original tempo, right? So once you get the hang of how it feels to switch though, and you don't really have to count as much, you can really have fun with the 6/4 and get really creative, okay? As long as you know you're in 6/4 and you're going to come back to 1, the sky's the limit with what you can do. So I'm going to play the halftime feel. I'm going to then go into this 3/4 slower tempo and make that the tempo for a couple measures. And then I'll come back to the original, okay? And remember, to get back to the original, you have to do a 4/3. If I'm playing the slower tempo, and a 3 and a 1 and a 2, 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4, that's the original tempo right here. You have to use the 4/3. Now, I know that we're in triplets when we're doing the polyrhythm, but since it's 4-note groupings, when I think of it as 6/4, I actually think of it as, feel it as 16th notes. I'm not thinking triplets anymore. We just use the triplets to really get the counting together so that then we can feel it, and we know we're on par, right? We know technically it's true every time. But to technically get back, it's because you're 1 and slower, 1 and 2 and a 3 and a 4, and there it is. You've got to use the 4/3, which is 1 and a 2 and a 3. There's the original tempo that now becomes our halftime 16th note feel. Okay, so I'm going to try to put this together right now on live TV, and I'll play a few measures, maybe 4 measures of the halftime feel, and then 4 measures of this polyrhythm, which is going to be actually 2 measures of 6/4 sounding slower, right? And then back, and then back, and then we'll end. Okay, here we go. Okay, so there you go. Hand-to-hand stickings, that's fairly simple. It's the counting that can kind of catch you. If you want an added challenge, do it up on the ride cymbal or on another sound source, maybe some rims. But to keep the left foot going through the polyrhythm is a challenge, right? So here we go. 3, 4. See that? So the left foot was playing quarter notes while I shifted into this triplet feel. It's harder though when you are tethered to the hi-hat on the left foot to think of it, the slower tempo, as 16th notes, because you know it's not as free because you've got this going. But it's really good practice to know exactly how to go in and out of this thing, right? You could see it was very simple, straightforward. Let's try it one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you can see the last time I tried a different bass drum pattern, but I forgot the duh of 3 in the second polyrhythmic phrase. That happens when you practice, right? So, in fact, I've been practicing trying different bass drum patterns with this thing, but I'm showing you very simply with 1 on the bass drum, but you can really get creative once you know how to do this, even with the left foot going, right? That's really an added challenge. So, just wanted to show you that, and good luck practicing this stuff. It's great for solos. You know, you're soloing along in 4/4, and then you add this 3/4. Now you're suddenly in a slower tempo that still sounds like 4/4. And knowing how to get back to the original tempo, such a cool sleight of hand, if you will, for the listener. Okay? So take that to the bank. Take care. See you next time.